You guys look at the wife.
Husband, love your wives. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6. Chapter 5 again. I'm sorry. And let's start at 5 and 25. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. So Christ gave himself for the church, for his saints, for the meek, for the ones that kept his law, statute, commandments. He gave his life for them. Okay? So we must give our lives the same way, in like manner for our wives. Okay? Go ahead. That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church. Shh. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 27. That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. So we must love our wives like our own bodies. We don't cause any physical harm to our bodies. So why would we cause physical harms to our wives? Why would you put your hand on your wife? Why would you physically abuse your wife? Okay, go ahead. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh. So you don't hate yourself. So the same love you have for yourself, you should have for your wife. Okay, the same love you have for Christ, you should have for your wife. Go ahead. But nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Most High, the church. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. Go ahead. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother. Say that again. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother. You have some men, they can't even, their mama got to tell them what to do when it comes to their wives. You got some men, their father got to tell them what to do when it comes to their wife. Listen, that's between you and your wife. Okay, you're supposed to love your wife as yourself. The outsiders, you and your wife are one. Let's go to Genesis 2 and 23. You and your wife became one. Okay? So there's no reason why you should have outside affairs when it comes to you and your wife. Y'all are as one. You all should be able to use the scriptures and make valid or make reasonable decisions using the word, not having people on the outside, especially the world, come in and tell you how you're supposed to treat your wife, or oh man, I wouldn't do that, man, I would have knocked in my head. What scripture is that? You understand? So you must love our wives. Let's read that. 2 and 23. Genesis chapter 2 verse 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bone. Bone of my bone. So when your wife is you. She's a project of you. Go ahead. And flesh of my flesh. Flesh of your flesh. Go ahead. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. So you and your wife are as one. The man is the head, but you are as one. Okay, let's go back to Ephesians. Let's read 31. 33. Yeah, you can read 31 again. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 31. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. Should become one what? One flesh. So you and your wife are as one. Verse 33. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself. So we must love our wives as we love ourselves. Okay? So the whole key is we live according to the scriptures. In a moral sense, we are saints of Christ. Being saints of Christ, we will automatically love our wives as we love ourselves. Okay? Go ahead. And the wife, see that she reverence her husband. And she must always respect her husband as the head. Okay, let's go to Colossians. Colossians 3 and 19. And we go ahead. Colossians 3 and 19.
Husband, Colossians chapter 3, verse 19. Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them.
So we can't be bitter against our wives. We must understand, first of all, our wives are a weaker vessel. Okay? So we as men have to be the one that the wife can lean on. We have to be the one to show her the example. She's a product of us. Okay? So we've jacked up, guess what? 90% of the time your wife will be jacked up too. You understand? So we must not be lack when it comes to our wives. Colossians 3 and 8.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 8. But now ye also put off all these anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth.
So cursing our wives out, being angry with our wives, saying things that's harmful, hurt. We know women are sensitive. Okay, we know, that we can push buttons, saying things that will hurt their feelings. If it's not according to Scripture now, if it hurt their feelings according to Scripture, then that just hurt their feelings. But I'm talking about things when it comes to talking about your weight, or things just not becoming of love. We shouldn't do that. We must love our wives as we love ourselves. We should expect the same type of love from our wife. We should be given that same type of love. Go ahead. Verse 9.
Lie not one to another.
So we shouldn't be lying to each other. There's no reason we have to lie to our spouse. None. What are we hiding? What is it I can't tell my wife? Are we the same person? What is it that I have to hide? When we follow the law, statutes, and commandments, then that means we walk in righteousness. There's no reason why I should be able to tell her whatever is going on. Okay, go ahead.
Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him.
So when we renewed, we walking like Christ. We put away the old man. The new man is walking like Christ, following the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay. So that old guy, once you follow Christ, make that sacrifice and died, being resurrected, like Christ has been resurrected out of that water, then you no longer live like the world. You live like Christ. You follow Christ. So we must treat our wives in that same manner. We must love our wives like we love Christ. Everything must be, listen, the key to this book is love.
Right.
Without love, there's nothing. You can't follow Christ if you don't love. So harming your wife or doing anything towards your wife is not love. Okay? Let's go to verse 12, brother.
Colossians 3 and 12. Put on therefore as the elect of the Most High, holy.
Say that again.
Put on therefore as the elect of the Most High.
Each one of us want to be the elect. So we got to act like the elect. Spotless. Our job, listen, we are practicing every day, y'all. We got this grace period on earth. We practice every day to be that perfect person.
Right.
We must do that diligently, daily. Like Paul said, I die daily. So each day, we're working towards being that perfect person. Okay? Go ahead.
Holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness.
As men, the hardest thing for us to do sometimes is admit. We got to understand we must be humble. Because at the end of the day, it ain't about us. It's about Christ. It's about getting into the kingdom. So if you make a mistake, admit. Step forward. Look, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Confess your faults. Be forgiven. Because if your wife is any woman of Christ, she will forgive you. Just like if you any man of Christ, you will forgive your spouse. You understand? Go ahead.
Humbleness of mind, meekness, long suffering, forbearing one another, forbearing one another, and forgiving one another.
Forgiving one another. Listen, we got to forgive each other on the smallest matters. Okay?